Right here, and welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, I will be taking my Ruger LCP and doing a fluff and buff on the barrel. Some of the things I'll be using in this episode is some glue and rust remover. This is by Birchwood Casey. I'm also going to be using my Dremel, and I'm also going to require a file because I'm going to have to resize a buffing wheel here. I'm also going to be using this big buffer. This buffer is made by Delta. I highly recommend this specific buffer because you can actually adjust the speed of the wheel. Really, this is made, specifically it's a grinder. It is a Delta Shopmaster. You know, you have grinding wheels here, usually on both sides, but I replaced the right side here with a buffing wheel. Okay, I've already removed the barrel. One of the first things you want to do is remove all oil and grease from the barrel. You want to apply the rust remover, or the bluing rust remover to the barrel for about 2 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it. And you could already see some of the bluing coming off. I'm going to show you my in-camera. There we go. And what I want to do, let me wipe my hand off here. I'm going to go ahead and hit the light. There we go. So you can see it's already starting to come off. So here's what the barrel looks like after a couple of minutes with the rust remover. Rust/bluing remover. Looks pretty good, huh? It's just about took it all off. But as you can see, it's really dull. So what I want to do now is apply some compound to my buffing wheel. And I'm going to have this very slow. One of the things you got to remember is that you're going to generate a lot of heat with this buffing wheel, and you don't want to change the temper of the metal. So you just want to do a little bit at a time and very lightly. And you want to wear gloves, trust me. Now again, I had this on the slowest setting. I mean, I could really crank this sucker up, but if you do it with it going this fast, you got to do it in very short spurts. Just to give you an idea of the difference, you can see the end there compared to the rest of it. One other thing I recommend using is this stuff called Flitz Polish. Actually, some of you might have already seen this on the Armory channel. It's something that I know Pete uses. I've used this stuff for decades. Actually, I was on board a ship, I believe it was the USS Shreveport, or it might have been the John King, some ship a long time ago, and we had a salesman come on board, and they wanted to sell as much of this stuff to sailors as possible, and you know, usually I don't trust salesmen, especially traveling salesmen, but I went ahead and tried a tube of this stuff, and I was amazed, and I was sold ever since. So, Flitz Polish, highly recommended. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe this down with it really quick. Check this out. Okay, so this is the part that you're going to see when it's all assembled. So that's the part where I'm really got nice and shiny. The rest of it doesn't need to be perfect, but I got it pretty shiny there. So The advantage of having it nice and smooth like this is, of course, it'll make things run better. The disadvantage is that it's going to give away your position if something glares. But let me tell you, on a Ruger LCP, which is a concealed little gun, you're not going to get too tactical with this guy. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do is get the Dremel out. I'm going to put this buffing wheel on to this attachment. So we have something that looks like this. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the Dremel. And tighten that up good. Now, what I want to do, I'm going to start this on the lowest setting, of course. And you can see that worked there. Now the problem is that this wheel is not going to fit into the chamber. It's also too big for the ramp. So what I have to do is reduce the size of this buffing wheel. So I'm going to get a file and reduce the size until it fits. Alright, so we're fitting in there good. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of compound. Now we'll go ahead and work on the ramp. I'm just going to go ahead and just lightly do the chamber. You don't need to go crazy, just a tiny little bit. Now the reason why I don't have gloves on right now is because I want to keep track of the heat. I want to make sure I'm not generating an enormous amount of heat. Again, I don't want to change the temper of the barrel. And when I say the temper, I mean the hardness. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Now, because it's so shiny, you can see my fingerprints all over this thing all the time. But let's take a look at that ramp. Ain't that the prettiest feed ramp you ever seen? Huh? Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off. And I'm going to clean the barrel because, you know, this did come back from the factory. I do want to clean it because, you know, they test fired it, but they generally don't clean it after test firing. So I'm going to clean out the inside of the barrel real quick. Plus, it's good to clean the barrel after you do this kind of stuff because you probably got some compound and other dust and dirt and everything found its way in the barrel. So even if it was clean, go ahead and clean it. Done cleaning everything. I'll tell you, I am quickly becoming a big fan of M Pro 7. I'll tell you, the amount of dirt that this stuff can, you know, gets out of your stuff, it just continuously amazes me. And to wrap things up, I went ahead and put a very fine thin coat through the barrel, and I'm also coating the barrel, especially around where a lot of friction tends to take place, like in the lug here, right there, sorry, inside that lug and around the barrel, and really all over the outside. I'm giving a coat of Militech, right, Gargwar? 1981. Alright, once we have finished that up, we'll go ahead and reassemble the slide assembly. And I just want to make sure I'm in frame here. Got the inner and outer springs on the guide rod. Go ahead and snap those into place. Yeah, good. I think I grabbed a little bit of my green here. And we'll go ahead and get this together. And let's see what we got. Go ahead and just wipe things off just a little bit. I'm using the birchwood Casey cloth here. I think that's how you say it, right? I know Pete likes these cloths. I think he gets a different manufacturer, but silicone impregnated cloth is a silicone impregnated cloth. I know some are a little bit have more silicone or feel more moist than others. And he's right. These things smell good. So it's good to go ahead and do the whole pistol, because what that does is help protect it. And let's see what that final product looks like. There you go. So that's my version of a fluff and buff on the barrel of an LCP, and usually on most of my pistols I do this. It tends to make them function a little bit smoother and look better. So again, thank you very much for stopping by the Gear Obsession channel. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thank you friends, subscribers, and viewers. I appreciate you all. Have a